morning. I'm on the first day of a short 2-week trip that I'm going to take to Badlands, Devils Tower, but the first stop is actually in Plata, Missouri. There's I watch a YouTube channel, it's Virtual Railfan, and they have one of their cameras at that station, at that railroad station. And it's kind of like one of their most popular stations, and I used to watch it quite a bit, and I decided, you know, I've always kind of wanted to go up there, and they actually just remodeled their station, so I'm like, well, you know what, that's what I want to do. So I ratted myself so I can go around, you know, go there. I'm going to go to the American Gothic House, the house that they use for the painting American Gothic, and then Iowa 80 truck stop, and then just a few little stops on the way, and then on to Badlands, and then Devils Tower. But yeah, it's first day. I'm actually at a state park campground in Oklahoma. It was a 3.5 hour, or 3.5, yeah, a little about 3.5 hour drive yesterday. Or I'm sorry, 2.5 hour drive, and then I think I have 3 hours today. So it kind of broke it up. And this park, it's interesting. You don't check in until 5 at night, and checkout is at 2. So it gives me a little time to do some work, and I think I'm going to have to find some time to do a little reorganization. I bought a Blackstone grill. We have one at home, and we use it all the time. And I have been debating getting one for the van. And when we got the one for home, it's the 22 size, and it's pretty big. Because at first I thought, well, maybe I could use that one, you know, bring it with me or whatever. Because I've seen people take the 22, but that thing is huge. There's just no way. So I went with the 17, and I had been debating it, and then Amazon Prime Day had it on sale. But it forced me to have to completely reorganize my garage storage, which has kind of snowballed into some things being up here, and I don't know. Anyway, I need to reorganize. So I'm hoping it was worth the effort. that I'm going to be using it. But anyway, so right now I'm just going to make myself some coffee. I don't know if does anybody else do this. My husband started doing this, and I was like, why are you doing that? Adding salt to your coffee when you're brewing it. I was like, why are you doing that? And then I started doing it. It actually cuts the acid, the acidity of the coffee, and it tastes really good. So that's what I'm doing there. But anyway, I'm just curious if anybody else does that. But so I'll get my coffee here and figure out what I'm going to do next. My goal this trip is to be less dependent on campgrounds. During the summer, I pretty much just stay at campgrounds because I have to run the AC. I can't stand it. I can't stand the heat. So now that it's finally cooling down a little bit, and I say finally, like just this week, Texas like got out of the hundreds. But I really want to try to do more boondocks. I'm gonna stay on BLM land at Badlands, and I've got one night at Devils Tower. I am staying at the KOA, and since I'm just doing one night, I decided to treat myself and reserve the spots that are closest to the view of Devils Tower. But yeah, I am staying at a couple of KOAs just during the week so I can work, but on the weekends, it's a free-for-all. I should mention I have a guest with me. Yeah, I brought Misty with me this time. Actually, it's kind of funny. So my daughter's been home, and actually she just got a job, which is awesome. It starts Monday, but in the meantime, so she's, has her cat, Dolly, which I think you saw her in the Christmas video, the winter video. when I was picking her up. But Dolly is the sweetest cat. I mean, she's just so chill, laid back. And I thought, oh, you know, Misty, you know, she's going to get along with her. No, I've learned something about Misty. She's super sweet with us. She's very territorial. And we've been slowly trying to introduce them. And I've seen, like, Dolly will just kind of look at Misty. And I've seen her even do the slow blink at Misty. Like, you know, hey, you know, I'm okay. I'm not going to eat you or attack you. And, but Misty just, like, stares her down and then hisses at her. And we've been, you know, just, what we'll do is, Dolly is in my daughter's room, so we'll leave the door open. Like, I'll go sit on the floor, then Misty will come to the doorway, and Dolly will be there, and we're kind of giving them treats, you know, and just kind of getting them so they're aware of each other. But, yeah. Every time she just, I mean, she doesn't even blink. She just stares her down, hisses, and then walks away. And Dolly's like, I don't know. I tried. So what we're thinking is with Misty being with me is, you know, maybe Dolly can relax a little bit and explore the rest of the house, and we'll see what happens when I get back. Well, good morning. I just spent the night at the Superman / ice cream shop called Supertown here in actually Cartersville, Missouri, which is just a little bit north of Joplin. And I'm heading now to my next Harvest Host tonight, which will be a winery in Higginsville, Missouri. And then tomorrow I'll be going to the rail station, American Gothic House, and what's the other one? Oh, Iowa 80. And I'm probably going to try to boondock there at Iowa 80, which I think I can. I've seen other people do it, so I think you can stay overnight, but I'm going to verify that just in case. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to head out on the road, and I've got Misty here. I don't know if you can see, there she is. So now I'm going to head out. I didn't record much more yesterday. I did actually organize the storage in the back a little bit, which was helpful. I got one of the chairs back there anyway. You can probably, I don't know if you could tell, but I do have a lot of stuff back there, including a cat toy. So it was a little bit better organized yesterday. Anyway. I arrived at my Harvest Host probably about 2 hours ago. Went in, had a glass of wine, had some lunch / dinner. The name of it is Arcadian Moon Winery and Brewery, and it's in Higginsville, Missouri. It's a nice setting. They've got a big, either a giant pond or a small lake, I don't know. But you can walk around, which I might go walk around a little bit later. Right now, if you can hear it, I've got the AC on and I'm running the engine to keep my battery charged. It's not that bad out. It's about 75 degrees, but the problem is I'm not in shade, and so, you know, I'm just right there exposed to the sun and absorbing the heat. So I'm trying to keep it cool in here for now so that later on, when the sun's not right on me, I can turn the fan on and it won't be like trying to get the heat out. It'll just be keeping it cool. So, but it looks like it might rain. It's actually kind of dark. I think I actually can kind of see the rain in the distance. I think about 4:30 they said that the rain's going to come in, so we'll see. Good morning. I'm about to head out from the Harvest Host to Plata, Missouri, where the rail station is that's on the Virtual Railfan camera. I think it's about 2.5 hours from here. So It's about 9:37 now. So be there, I guess, around noon. So. Good morning. It is 6:25 in the morning. Spent the night at the Iowa 80 truck stop. First time I ever stayed at a truck stop. You know, a lot of people talk about the noise, but it didn't bother me. But then I have to have noise to sleep anyway, so I actually slept pretty good. I woke up early, but I was originally gonna stay here because it's a work day, so I was going to stay here and work and then head to the camp because I'm going to be at a campground for 3 days. So I was going to head to the campground later, but I was thinking, well, you know, it's early enough. I might as well there's a Walmart not too far from there, so I'm going to go hang out at the Walmart till it's time to check into the campground. You know, just park in the parking lot and work. And besides, I have to go in and get some limes, so I forgot to get limes. Anyway, but I was thinking they've got a ton of stuff in there. They've got, of course, you know, fast food, Wendy's, Pizza Hut, DQ, and I actually saw, well, part of the DQ is Orange Julius, which I'm like, I didn't even know they were still around. Because I always think of that of like the malls from the 80s. But anyway, and then they had a Einstein bagel and Caribou coffee. So I think I'm going to go get breakfast and get some coffee before I head out. Well, I've been at this KOA now. This is the third night. I leave tomorrow morning. I'm going to try to leave early in the morning. And then my next stop is a Harvest Host, actually a golf course. First time I've stayed at one of those in Vermilion, South Dakota. And then the next day I'll be in Badlands, or heading towards Badlands, and that's actually where I'm going to stay that night, Friday night. So then that's going to be like a 5-hour drive, I think, from the golf course. But so I've been here since Monday, I guess around noon. I checked in a little bit early and just kind of hanging out. I actually, this isn't really what I originally thought this would be part of the video, but well, I figure I would discuss it anyway, since it is kind of you know, I guess part of van travel, part-time, full-time, whatever, van life. And something to think about, and, you know, maybe somebody out there kind of goes through the same thing. But I think I may have mentioned before, I don't know if I have or not, but anyway, I have IBS. And I never know when it's really going to kind of flare. Before I left on the trip, I also have diverticulitis. Before I left, like the week before I left, I had a flare, and so I was on antibiotics and everything, and that got better. But I've been going through just a lot of periods of nausea, and so So the last few days I haven't really recorded much. I've just kind of been quiet because especially yesterday was kind of a bad day. This is going to sound weird, but it's one of those things I had to think about when I was thinking about, which van or which vehicle, even before I knew I was going to do a Class B, because the very first, I think I've said before, very first vehicle I ever looked at or thought I could drive was the leisure travel van. And I have these, I don't know what else to call them, but I've mentioned it to doctors, and they usually look at me and I'm like, So I don't really get an answer. The best I've been able to determine is something to do with the vagus nerve, I think. And it doesn't happen very often. Like, it's not like it's weekly, monthly. It could happen once every 6 months. I mean, that it's not frequent. But like I said, I kind of call it an episode because I don't know what else to call it. But what'll happen is I'll get really nauseous, and then I get this like my skin is on fire. I start sweating, like dripping sweat, and it almost feels, I don't want to say out of body, but I don't know how to explain the feeling. It's like this sensation of like either I'm hyper aware or I feel out of it. I don't know. It's kind of a weird, I don't know how to describe it, but anyway, and to the point where I have to close my eyes. I have to like do deep breathing. I can't talk. I don't want to talk. It's not that I can't. It's just that any movement or talking or anything makes me more nauseous, if that makes sense. And so inevitably I don't actually get sick, but I end up just kind of hanging over the toilet, like just with the expectation I'm going to get sick, but I don't actually get sick. And so that was one of the things when I was looking at the leisure travel van. I remember looking at the bathroom like, yeah, I could sprawl out on that floor. I mean, like, these are the things you have to think about. And so even when I started looking at the vans, it was kind of the same thing. Like that's for me personally why, the bathroom is important. Having a bathroom is important. I wanted a black tank, and I can now tell you this bathroom, yeah, it works. I can hang over the toilet over here. And one thing to think about, I guess it's not a van channel if we're not talking toilets. But one thing to think about is if you are prone to getting sick, with the black tank, at least with the porcelain. Now, I don't know if the plastic toilets, I would prefer a porcelain because it's the closest to what you're going to have at home. I can tell you that there's when you're, just kind of there's no odors from the tank wafting up, I guess. I don't know. I hope that's not TMI. But and then that's something, like I said, if you have a sensitive stomach and you're prone to issues like that might be something to think about that maybe you haven't thought about or didn't know to think about. I can't speak directly to a cassette toilet because I've never had one, but I would be concerned that it would not be a very pleasant experience from that perspective. And then the alternative of, some people even have, like the built-in cassettes, I think are probably, the ones where you take the cassette out from the side of the van outside. Like, I think that would be more tolerable, but like the little ones, like the little porta potties that you get with like the storytellers, like those little, that you pretty much only use in an emergency, like that I would think would be a very unpleasant experience. But yeah, it's one of those things that I'm like, well, it's, and not everybody, if you've got an iron stomach and your system is just on schedule, under control, then those probably aren't things you have to think about. But when you don't know what the day is going to bring, you want to at least have your little kind of space. Like if there was ever a thing called a safe space, that's a safe space if you have stomach issues, Crohn's or anything like that. But yeah, so anyway, so that, I haven't really been recording much because I've been kind of just dealing with nausea. And like I said, yesterday was bad, and I actually did have one of those episodes, you could call it, where, I was just in there on the floor. I don't really know. Like I said, the closest I've been able to figure out, it has to do with the vagus nerve. Some kind of misfiring or something, a signal gets crossed. I don't know. From my research, that's what I've come up with. And like I said, I've mentioned it to doctors, and they just kind of look at me like, huh, It's like, okay, that was helpful. But anyway, so hopefully I'll start feeling better. I do have, it's funny, they gave me some Zofran for, the little pills for the diverticulitis. Actually, I asked them for them because I'm like, because I try to keep a supply, and like they're emergency use, because they don't give you very many. So they're like total emergency use. Like if nothing else works, and if nothing over the counter works, then I'll use that for nausea. And most of the time it helps. I actually took one. It was funny. I was feeling good most of the day, and then this afternoon it kind of came back up. And then I watched What's Up Wednesday, and that distracted me enough that I felt better. So now I'm feeling okay. I'm still going to try to go to sleep early because I do want to get up early and hit the road. But yeah, I didn't. Well, and there's not much here at the KOA to make videos of anyway. And this one is actually, it's a journey, so it's like really close. Like I can see the highway and I can hear it. It's pretty loud. Actually, it seems almost louder than the truck stop did. The truck stop, I think it was a little different because it's just like a continuous hum of all the trucks running, where this is just, cars going, and some trucks, I don't know if they have their, what are those, Jake brakes? I don't know. There's some trucks that make that really loud noise. I think it's a brake. But so you hear that. Of course, I will say this about Coachman's. They're insulated really well. I don't hear much going on when the windows are, like I have the windows closed now and the AC on, and I don't hear anything. And I've noticed that, or the sounds are very faint, which is good. But yeah, so just been here and looking forward to going to Badlands. I've looking forward to that for a while. I'm going to stop at Wall Drug because you gotta go there. Then I'm going to go around the national park, and then actually there's some BLM land. I guess, I don't know if it's just right outside the park. I'm not exactly sure, but hopefully I can find the spot. I have the coordinates for it. And then I'm going to go to, because the next day I'm going to go to Devils Tower, and then on the way there's like the geographical center of the U.S. I'm going to go to that. And then Devils Tower, like I mentioned earlier, I am staying at a KOA there just one night. And then I'm probably going to try to do laundry there too. What else? Then the next day, Mount Rushmore. And then there's a park, I can't think of the name of it. It's a state, national park. Cannot think of the name of it. But that's near there. And they also have overnight, I don't know if it's like overnight RV parking or exactly what it is, but there's a place you could stay overnight, so I'm going to stay overnight there. And then start heading back. Wish I could stretch it out a little bit longer, but I do need to get back, and then I'm trying to finish up some things at home. So once I get those things squared away, and then end of October,
is Chasm Fest, and my daughter's coming with me to that, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's in Lake Havasu, Arizona. So I'll probably end it here for this one, and then get back to you when I'm in Badlands.